It's finally here. The box that we've known about for a year, and the release that we thought might never come. The Horus Heresy is a special kind of game. As a hobbyist who played during 7th edition, in a time dominated by Taudar, Decurions and unkillable invisible Death Stars, the Heresy was seen as a more historical, simpler game. Unfortunately left in limbo with the coming of 8th edition and the tragic passing of the game's guiding light within Games Workshop, some thought that the game was gone forever. The leak from almost a year ago, which we now know is the picture from the back of the starter box, sent the Heresy community into a tailspin. What was coming? Was it plastic? Was it a new edition? Would it be based on 9th edition? What happens to our old books? All questions without answers until recently, when Games Workshop unveiled the new edition of the Age of Darkness, featuring a new all-plastic set of Mark 6 Marines, a Spartan tank, Terminators and a Contemptor. In front of me is that box. Thanks to Games Workshop for sending it to me, and you can go all sorts of places to find unboxings and first looks at the contents. But this is a Kit Bash Corner video, and so we'll be making a kit bash of one of the Praetors in the box for my new Dark Angels Legion force. If you like the model or the video, please do consider subscribing for more Heresy content, including a fantastic tale of gamers with some great hobbyists and content creator pals of mine. So I started by searching through my bits pile for some suitably Dark Angel-y bits. Dark Angels are one of my all-time favourite armies in 40k, so I have a lot of pieces lying around. The main body of the model is pretty much standard, up to the part where you attach the tummy plate. This will be our first conversion, and I think that this kind of change will be popular amongst people making this model their own. To replace the symbol on the plate, we need to file it down first. I used my knife and clippers to file the plate flat, and then I glued on this large Dark Angel symbol. It's probably a bit big and goofy, but I think that it looks fun. The next modification comes at the arms. Instead of holding his sword up, I want my model to be plunging it into the ground in that classic Dark Angel pose. As I won't be using the standard arm, I removed the nub that it slots into, giving me a more old school flat connection for the arm. I found a suitable Space Marine arm, and I glued it together with the large downward pointing sword from the Deathwing box. For the other arm, I took one of the plasma pistol arms from the new Mark 6 Marines that come in this box. There's nothing more Dark Angel than plasma, and the rules for plasma in the Heresy have really changed now, gaining rending instead of always being AP2. Don't worry about using up all of these arms either, as each squad of 10 Marines gets the same set of arms for their sergeant, so you should have some spare. With the arms on, I tested the fit of this hooded head, and I found that it fit perfectly. It's always really useful to test your head pose before the arms completely dry, as sometimes you can end up with awkward looking Marines if their heads don't match the posture of the arms. The next simple conversion was adding a Dark Angel's back banner to the backpack. I can see this kind of thing being another popular conversion for all sorts of legions. I glued into a base, and I found that the Deathwing sword didn't reach all the way to the ground due to the tactical rock that the Praetor is sitting on. To extend this, I added a decapitated Mark III helmet to the base for the sword to rest on. For the shoulder pads, I used one of the Praetor shoulder pads, but I wanted to add Legion iconography to both pads, so I chose to use a blank pad in place of the studded one. The standard Space Marine pads are definitely smaller than the pads that came on the Praetor, but they look fine. In the end, the cloak fit fine as well, giving the model a suitably majestic look as well as some bulk. This is a big boy. The last step in assembly was to put the head back in. I posed him looking down the line of his plasma pistol, ready to fire. So that is assembly done. There are no complicated conversions here, but the simple changes I've made have added a lot of character to the model, and you can use these steps for any legion with appropriate bits. This model is really easy to convert, and now we just need to paint him. I didn't really film painting the Praetor. I followed my own guide for painting black armor, and I used fairly standard colors that I've covered elsewhere for most of the areas. If you'd like more detail, do let me know. One thing I really wanted to cover though is transfers, and I think Dark Angels look really great with loads of iconography. Transfers ought to be done just before the weathering stage of your paint job. I used Microset and Microsol, which are products designed for air-fixed transfers. Pop your transfer into water, and whilst it is soaking, paint your surface with some Microset. Slide the decal off the backing and onto your surface. Once it's kinda dry, use some Microsol over the top in 2 or 3 coats, waiting for it to totally dry between each coat. This will really bed the transfer into the shape of your model. Finally, add your weathering such as washes, chips or tears in the base colour, and finish it off with a coat of Lamium Medium, which brings together all the different finishes of the things we've used. Repeat this process for all 7 transfers on this model. Paint the base and he should look like this. I have really enjoyed starting this army. I'll be showing off my progress in this army with some pals in a mini Tale of Gamers style series, the first of which you'll hopefully be able to see next week. Tune in to see us build up armies for the new edition of Heresy. I can't believe that it's finally here and I cannot be more excited. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found some of the tips useful and maybe a little bit inspirational as well for when you get your hands on the Age of Darkness box set. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next video.
You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity.